let's talk about the law of prosperity. If you wish to make a request of the universal mind, the most effective time to do this is after you have become neutral. So, let's talk about how to become neutral. Victor Bach said, "There are two laws which exist together as a pair. The law of attraction states that you attract the images you hold in your subconscious mind. The law of repulsion states that you repel what you are addicted to. Both your attractive force and your repellent force are present. Your repellent force is greater than your attractive force." What is an addiction? Any compulsive need characterized by an emotion-backed demand. This demand is not simply a desire or longing. You can tell whether what you are feeling is healthy for you or not by how you feel. If the experience makes you happy and fills you with joy, then it is on the right level. If it makes you anxious, worried, angry, or any other negative emotion, then it is an addiction. To get rid of your addiction, you need to upgrade your emotion-backed demand to a preference. If you are addicted to something, it upsets you when you are deprived of it. For instance, if you were going to go on a bike ride and the day comes and it rains, an addicted person would fret all day over how the rain had ruined their bike ride. Someone with a preference says, "It's raining," and goes inside to enjoy doing something else. Life is enjoyed to its fullest, even when one's plans are thwarted. The emotion is missing from the demand for a bike ride if it's only a preference. There is no pain or worry. You are indifferent. This shift in perspective does not mean you turn your back on your desires. It means you release your obsessive way of relating to them. The simplest method I know of to upgrade an addiction to a preference is to say, "I love you." Right at that point, when you are angry as hell and want to slug someone, take a deep breath and relax. Then say, "I love you." Watch what happens. You have just passed from an addiction to a preference. Say it again and again. Now, if I walk up to you and say, "I love you," it doesn't mean I want to slug you. I really do love you. Sooner or later, your preference will upgrade further to acceptance. Preferences are a step above attachments or addictions. Unconditional love is a step beyond preferences. But that's the same as having no preferences at all, you might complain. I have always been taught that life proceeds out of my intentions. If I have no preferences, how can this be true? Neil Walsh said, "Have intentions, but don't have expectations, and certainly don't have requirements. Do not become addicted to a particular result. Do not even prefer one. Elevate your addictions to preferences and your preferences to acceptances. That is the way to peace." When we are feeling the signs of an addiction coming on, a swollen face, buggy eyes, stop and take a deep breath and say, "I love you." Then watch the magic as your addiction turns into a preference and even into acceptance. We have run into a glitch in the teachings of this sermon, I think, and the only honest thing to do is to examine the assumptions we have made thus far and make corrections, if possible. Let's start with the emotion-backed demand, Victor Bach's backbone of the law of repulsion. The emotion-backed demand is the emotional guidance system telling you that what you are attracting is not designed to bring you happiness. For you cannot demand happiness. Why? Because what you are feeling now is the feeling you are attracting into your future. Abraham said, as a channel through Esther Hicks, "What you are doing as you are moving through the variety of your day-to-day experiences is you are offering thoughts that are literally formulating your future experience. And you can tell by the way you feel now if the things you're moving toward will please you when you get there. Whatever it is you're feeling is a perfect reflection of what is in the process of becoming." Okay, I'll have to agree, negativity causes damage on all levels. The bad feelings should be a warning to pick another course. Letting fate decide is the more common choice people make. We often take our past regrets and cast them into our future as fear. When we stop doing that and hold on to our truth, regardless of appearances, we have taken control of our destiny. Focus on the good feelings and use them to guide your life's events. But is that always true? The desire to breathe becomes an emotion-backed demand if we are denied the ability to breathe, producing anxiety, leading to panic. Are we addicted to breathing? If the answer is yes, then is that a bad thing? What about our desire to eat or to keep from falling off a cliff? Certainly, these can become an emotion-backed demand. Can you imagine only having a preference for not falling? Obviously, there are some emotion-backed demands that we cannot categorize as undesirable. In a neutral world, every emotion has its place. Let me repeat that. In a neutral world, every emotion has its place. I see nothing wrong with emotion-backed demands, to be honest with you. They feel great, in fact. Have you noticed that fulfilling an emotion-backed demand feels a lot better than when fulfilling a preference? That is a fact. And we had better deal with this or risk deflating this whole concept of the law of repulsion. The bike ride feels better to the one obsessed with it than for the one with only a preference for riding that day. My hiking partner disagrees, but then he is habitually disagreeable. Let's say that you are madder than hell, on the edge of screaming and tearing your hair out. I am glad for you. This contrary attitude of mine should not come as a surprise by this time in this sermon. You are to take all that energy which is expressing as rage and redirect it into something else. Again, the choice is yours. Make a conscious decision as to what you want this energy to become, or let your subconscious decide. Smile and release your need to control your life. Both approaches are valid, and both are very magical. Osho said, "Emotion has tremendous potential. Anger is energy. Fear is energy. So is cowardice. All that happens to you has great momentum, a great quantity of energy hidden in it. Once you accept it, that energy becomes yours. You become stronger. You become wider. You start becoming more spacious. You have a bigger inner world then." He talks about being a witness, which will cause the negative emotions to transform into loving silence, releasing their energy in its pure form for your use. Okay, that is true enough. I've been there. Then Osho caps this off by saying, "And watching slowly, slowly, as the mind becomes more and more contentless, until one day the mind itself disappears. You cannot remain without anger, without fear, without love, without hate. All these are absolute necessities for the mind to exist." That is true enough as well. I've been there. No mind. Blank. It would have been peaceful if I could have felt the peace, but the ability to feel had also disappeared. Now I choose to feel again. That is why I am here, to feel, to be human. And that is why I cringe when I observe folks struggling to denounce the very thing that they came here to experience. And I cannot explain this to them because then they would cringe and not understand. They are feeling pain and do not understand how beautiful it is. Let me repeat that. They are feeling pain and do not understand how beautiful it is. I could go on and on. I am completely hopeless. Many claim, against their better judgment, that we are all one. I say that we are all individuals. I am at peace, but you aren't, or vice versa. You see, we don't act or feel like we are one. I admit that oneness is a goal in a metaphysical world. I admit that below everything I feel absolute infinity, that part of us that we share. That is us on a very deep level. But the icing on the cake is also real. There, we are many sparks starting our own fires. I claim both realities as being equally valid expressions. My path, and I suspect that your path is not that much different, is fraught with opposites vying for union. At each turn of the road, you find a pair of opposites blocking your way. How to move on? Light up the two opposites. Become aware of them, intimately aware. Then watch like a mad scientist or wizard as they merge. There is nothing to do, just observe. At first there is effort, like holding your thumb out, trying to hitch a ride. Waiting with patience is part of this effort. Then you become caught up in the stream. And get this ride is the ultimate in emotion-backed demands, the rising fire of change and rebirth. So, back to the term, emotion-backed demand. Yes, if the emotions are negative, they will lead you to where you do not wish to go. The stronger the emotion, the faster you move towards your chosen destination. If the emotions are positive, if your emotion-backed demands are fueled by positive emotions, then you're moving in the right direction. An example of some positive emotion-backed demands are devotion, love, audacity, enthusiasm, screaming, dancing, to embrace. Any strong feeling, if it is positive, no matter how demanding it is, will be a blessing in your life. And I repeat, union with God or enlightenment is the ultimate emotion-backed demand. A noted French scientist once predicted, someday, after we have mastered the winds, the waves, the tides, and gravity, we will harness the energies of love, and then, for the second time in history, man will have discovered fire. Time is a hard taskmaster, but it can also be used to our advantage. Take, for example, the Sabbath observance of the Jewish culture. 1 day a week they are totally present. All else is irrelevant, just for that day, a holy day. What makes it holy? A Course in Miracles calls this type of experience a holy instant, a moment in time in which you willingly step into a state of mind where the past and future do not exist. In this holy instant, there is no fear, whose substance is only the shadowy dregs of grievances, regrets, unresolved anger, judgment, and punishment. Just for 1 day a week, on the Sabbath, the Jewish community enters a holy instant. Then they allow this moment to carry them into the next week, with the promise of renewal the following Sabbath. In the words of a friend of mine, Rabbi Singer. I don't know the exact moment when I felt it. In fact, I don't think there was one exact moment. Rather, the entire Shabbat was completely full of love. It was a day where I once again found and felt the love Adonai has for me. It was a day that reminded me that He knows me, and He is aware of my fears and my struggles. And it was a day full of assurances that He is cheering me on with every step I take toward Him, no matter how small of a step it may be. That is what Shabbat is all about, is it not? Love, the pure love of Adonai. This love empowers you, makes you want to be better, and encourages you to keep on trying. This love brings warmth to your heart and sometimes sends shivers down your spine. This love teaches you who you are and where you came from. This love reminds you to embrace your identity as a special, sacred child of Adonai. This love is the kind of love that will never fade. Throughout the whole week following Shabbat, it will not fade until the holy day comes again, and it is renewed. A conversation between Daniel Odier and Devi, a tantric teacher. Devi said, "Look within for a memory of your awakening. It will be there for everyone has one." Daniel said, "I searched my mind, and suddenly an image appeared. I was 11 years old. I was on vacation in the mountains. I had met a young girl my age, and one evening we went out along a path that rose above the village. We held hands and walked in silence. At one moment we stopped and looked at the sky. The incredibly luminous stars seemed closer. I had the impression of being totally dissolved into the sky. It lasted a few seconds. Could that be called an awakening?" Devi said, "Yes. When no sensation of the ego remains, nor of duality, nor of the mental operation that makes us say how beautiful it is, how infinite. When there's nothing to limit an experience, when the mind rediscovers space, then it's a matter of awakening. From now on, you are no longer on a search for an abstract or remote state. You're searching for nothing that is not already within you." Likewise, when seeking union with God, you are searching for nothing that is not already within you. You are reaching for a state of being which is a perpetual Sabbath, where your entire life is a holy instant. The words of Brother Giovanni, 1513. Life is so full of meaning and promise, so full of beauty beneath its covering, that you will find earth but cloaks your heaven. Courage, then, to claim it. That is all. Take courage by the hand and be comforted by the knowledge that we are all pilgrims together, wending through an unknown country to our home. And so, at this time I greet you, not quite as the world sends greetings, but with profound esteem, and with the prayer that for you and forever the day breaks and the shadows flee away.